So friends, we continue with the exemptions under GST in relation to services. In last video we had already done up to entry number 21A. Now in this video some of the things are only for reading, and if it is only reading you can also read, and that is not very important for any exam, whether you are appearing for CA or CS or CMA or whatsoever exam you are writing. So something important, it is important for all, something not important is not important for anyone, right? Now coming to entry number 22, this says services by way of giving on hire to a state transport undertaking a motor vehicle meant to carry more than 12 passengers, and to a goods transport agency a means of transportation of goods. So this is entry number 22. This is giving vehicle on hire. Actually, three things are covered in this entry. This is vehicle for passengers, vehicle for transportation of goods, and this is something very specific we'll talk about. So if the vehicle is given on hire to a state transport agency, and the capacity of the vehicle is more than 12 passengers, then only exemption is available. If this vehicle is given to anybody else, irrespective of the capacity, it will be taxable. Now, rent a car scheme. Car is given on hire. So car is meant for transportation of passenger. When it is given on hire, so the hire is not this, and even if this is higher, then this is not the capacity. Exemption is not available. So for availing the exemption in relation to renting of vehicle which is capable of carrying the passenger, two essentials are there. It is rented out or given to a state transport agency, and it is having the capacity of more than 12 passengers. In relation to goods, it is given on hire to GTA. Vehicle used for transportation of goods directly without involving GTA, it is an in case exempt. And if the owner of the vehicle is giving the vehicle on hire to GTA, that is also exempt. But services availed through GTA, those are taxable, subject to further exemptions. Now the third one, that is something unique. That is, now read clause C in that. This is motor vehicle for transportation of student, faculty and staff. So this is only in relation to educational institution, and this is primary level, secondary level, as well as senior secondary level, and for transportation of students, staff, and faculty, that is exempt, right? Not all educational institution, this is limited to this. So some college providing professional education, say engineering college, it doesn't come under the category of primary, secondary, senior secondary, it is beyond that. So vehicle given on hire to an educational institution, and the educational institution is in relation to primary, secondary, senior secondary education, and it is used for the purpose of transportation of the student, staff or faculty, then exemption exists, otherwise not. Right? So keep in mind, this is important, primary, secondary as well as senior secondary. So this is entry number 22. Now 23, this is service by way of access to a road or a bridge on the payment of toll charges. Toll charges either for the road or for the bridge. So what the toll charges? So toll charges are for using that road or that bridge, not for the construction of that bridge or that road. That is already constructed. So toll charges are paid for use, so that is considered as a service. So any toll charges payable for the bridge or for the road, those are exempt. Number 23A, services by way of access to a road or bridge on payment of annuity. So annuity it is a payment for the whole year made once. It is not every time the toll charges are paid. That is, annual payment is also made. So either it is a toll road, payment is made either annually or for every trip, that doesn't make a difference, that is always exempt. Then number 24, services by way of loading, unloading, packing, storage or warehousing of rice. Underline the word rice. Now you can ask me a question, because this entry is talking about loading, unloading, packing, storage, warehouse. Friends, all these services in relation to agro produce are exempt otherwise. Why the specific exemption to rice? Rice is a processed produce. Original produce is paddy. So as long as it is paddy, it is already exempt. But when it is processed, it becomes rice. Still these services are exempt. That's why this is covered separately. This is loading, unloading, warehousing, everything is in relation to rice, because this is processed. Number 25, this is transmission or distribution of electricity by electricity transmission or distribution utility. Generation of electricity not subject to GST. Transmission not subject to GST. Distribution not subject to GST. Right? So in total you can see electricity is not subject to GST. Then the next one is 26. This is services by Reserve Bank. So in relation to Reserve Bank, again I can draw a chart. Here we can put the title Reserve Bank, and Reserve Bank divided in two categories. To RBI and by RBI. So this is entry number 26. This is by RBI. Now, what are the services by RBI to whom, irrespective of that, all the services are exempt? But when it comes to services to RBI, this I will again divide in two parts. Received from outside India for forex management and any other service. Services received by RBI. So these are services given to RBI. So services received by RBI from outside India, and those services are in connection with management of foreign exchange reserves, this is exempt. So this is exempt, right? Any other service given to RBI, this is taxable. Okay, so this is entry number 26, read with some more things. Then comes entry number 27. This is something interesting and relevant, important one. Services by way of extending deposits, loans or advances insofar the consideration is represented by way of interest or discount. Now entry number 27, this is talking about services in relation to loans and advances. Loans and advances. Now in connection with the loans and advances, two things are there. Not necessary everywhere those are there. There is a processing and other charges, and there is interest. So to the extent consideration is interest only, it is exempt. This portion is not exempt, right? So now read it carefully. In 27A, service by way of extending deposits, loans or advances as so far as the consideration is represented by way of interest or discount, but other than credit card, right? So this is not here, this should be rent here, excluding credit card, right? Because in case of credit card, even interest is also subject to GST, right? But when it is loan and advance otherwise than by way of credit card and the consideration is only interest, this portion is exempt. And this portion is taxable. So some of the lenders use this as a selling tactic, that we don't charge a processing fee. So when there is no processing fees, even GST will also not be there. Understood? So when they charge initially a processing fees of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, that will be again subject to GST. You have to pay GST on that. But later on that, in case of repayment, when the installment is paid, the installment is having two components, that is principal and interest. On either of the component there will be no GST. Then in 27B itself, this is inter-se sale or purchase of foreign currency among bank or authorized dealer of foreign exchange among the banks and such dealers. So in 27 itself, this is sale or purchase of forex among banks and dealers, and this is between bank or dealer and customer. So when there is a sale or purchase of foreign exchange and the transaction is only among the banks or the dealers, this is exempt. this is taxable. So friends, exemption list is something which you have to read very, very carefully. But once it is understood, this is not only relevant for exam, throughout your professional career, this will be important. So that's why I'm going slow with this. Next one is says, 27C is says, I'm sorry, in 27 these are two only, right? So that was 27. Now coming to 28. Now some entries are only to be read, these are 28 onwards. I'll just read, and if I find something relevant, I'll stop and explain. 28 it says, services of life insurance, underline the word life insurance. Business provided by way of annuity under the National Pension System regulated by Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. Just underline the word life insurance, but run by Pension Fund Regulatory Authority. Number 29, service of life insurance, again life insurance, but this is provided by Army, Naval and Air Force group. Specific. So in the first case, pension fund. In the another case, Army, Navy, Air Force fund. 29A, services of life insurance provided or agreed to be provided by Naval Group Insurance. So all three entries, 28, 29, 29A, these are related to life insurance but distinct. In the first case, this is Provident Fund. In the second and third case, these are Air Force, Naval and Army Fund. The number 30, services by ESI. Just read and leave it. Number 31, services by EPF organization. This also read and leave. Similarly, services by IRDA. Number 33, services by SEBI. Number 34, service by acquiring bank to any person related to settlement up to 2,000 rupees in a single transaction transacted through credit card, debit card or other payment services. So number 34 you need to understand. Up to 33 just read and omit. Number 34, services by an acquiring bank to any person in relation to settlement of an amount up to 2,000 rupees in a single transaction through credit card, debit card, charge or other payment card charges. So when an online transaction is done or a card payment is done and the amount does not exceed 2,000 rupees, the processing charges will be there, but the processing charges will not be subject to GST. A common misunderstanding is that if the amount is below 2,000, there is no processing charge. No, processing charges will always be there, but those charges will not be subject to GST. Number 35, this is also to be read and left. This is services of general insurance. Underline the word general insurance, because earlier we talked about life insurance. Now we are talking about general insurance. Now all these insurance are low premium insurance and these are supported by the government. So just read and leave it. If you wish, you can read the whole list. Then comes number 36. This is again service of life insurance. Service of life insurance, but again low premium supported by the government, and in majority of the cases the premium is being paid by the government. The number 36A, services by way of reinsurance of insurance scheme. So when you read Insurance Act, you will find that every insurer who has taken a responsibility or who has issued an insurance policy, a certain portion is required to be reinsured with other people, so that the responsibility is shared. So reinsurance is exempt. Insurance is taxable. So whether life or general insurance is taxable, but reinsurance is exempt. Then number 37, services by way of collection of contribution under Atal Pension Yojana. Just read and leave it. Number 38 is also same, services by way of collection of contribution under any scheme of the state government. This also you can leave out. Number 39, services by the following person in the respective capacity. This is business facilitator or business correspondent to a banking company with respect to accounts in the rural area. So people who are acting as an intermediary in rural areas for supporting the banking activities and helping the people in that area to get associated with the bank, then those services are exempt. So this is also to be read and left out, right? Next is 39A. This is services by an intermediary of financial services located in multi-services SEZ with the International Financial Service Center to a customer located outside India for international financial services in currencies but other than Indian rupees. So this is a service provider who is already situated in SEZ, and SEZ is not considered as a part of India for the purpose of GST. And therefrom the services are being given to a person outside India. Those services are said to be exempt, but otherwise also those are non-taxable services. So these are, then number 40 comes, this is services provided to the government, state government, union territory and insurance. The total premium is paid by the government. So any insurance scheme where the insurance premium is being paid by the government, or that is subsidized by the government, or these are low premium schemes supported by the government, those are fully exempt. So in this lecture we have covered up to entry number 40, remaining in the next video.